doing less actually gets you more jacked as a firefighter. And what I'm about to show you in this video is the exact same method that I used myself to get down to single-digit body fat, and the same thing that I do with my clients, just like Kyle, to get them to lose 140 pounds over the course of just 18 months. Real quick note before we get into the video, if you're on a fat loss journey of your own as a firefighter, then I want to let you know that I have a free 12-week fat loss protocol made specifically for firefighters. I'm going to drop it into the description below. You can click apply here. And if you're qualified, then maybe we can talk about coaching too. Other than that, let's get to the video. All right, so to understand why doing less actually gets you better results, we have to understand what the actual problem is when it comes to firefighting. And I'm gonna break this down into 4 easy digestible steps. Okay, so first you have to understand, why do most firefighter fitness programs fail? And the answer is actually way more simple than you've been led to believe. It's not about doing more volume. It's not about the right type of exercise. What it is a simple lack of recovery. And this is even more important for a group of people like firefighting who have a very, very demanding physical job when working structure fires or lifting patients and everything else that firefighters have to do. But if you want to take that and sprinkle in 2 to 3 hours of exercise on top of it, it's no wonder that people can't stay consistent. And what I see with the clients that come in before they do my program, and what I did myself before I found the answer, was I would have months where I pushed it to the limits, I made some progress, and then I fell off for another 3 months. And then I had a good month, and then I fell off for another 3. And over the course of time, what this actually led to was just a pattern of inconsistency. My body wasn't getting what it actually needed. And the thing that you have to understand as a firefighter is that your central nervous system plays just as much of a role as your muscle skeletal system. So it has its own recovery curve, and you need to protect it, especially when you're running 6 calls after midnight. So what does this mean? It means that you have to take down the volume. You need to dial it back. All right. Focus on recovery first. Most programs fail firefighters because they put it as the least priority. What you need to do as a firefighter is it needs to become your number 1 priority so that you can come back from every shift and every workout stronger than the day before. That's the name of the game for longevity. And this leads me into my next point, which is, while we're considering recovery, that means point number 2 is you need to focus on having fewer high quality workouts that allow strength to actually climb instead of being buried under fatigue. So many times we just think that more of a good thing is better. But I want you to think of it from this lens as a firefighter. Just like the appropriate dose of medicine, the appropriate drug can solve a specific problem, too much of that thing, although it might be good, can still be detrimental or even fatal. But for some reason, we do not take our exercise with the same lens. And the fact of the matter is, if you can drink too much water and die, then you can probably exercise too much as a firefighter. And you need to know, what is the appropriate dose that I need to do to make the most amount of progress with the least amount of effort? Because it has to be that dialed when you're living a lifestyle like a firefighter. So consolidate it down into just 2 to 3 days a week of a very calculated routine that is going to focus on full body, functional strength, and mobility. Most people are spending 12 to 20 hours a week in the gym, which is, by the way, a part-time job that you have to pay to do. Instead, why don't you focus on just being as efficient as possible and spending a maximum of 90 to 120 minutes per week. So now you're not only getting better, more efficient workouts and making even better progress with less time, but you're getting back pieces of your life that you would have traded away just to be in the gym longer, going along with glorifying burnout culture. And that is just not going to cut it when you're already living the lifestyle of a firefighter. All right, so this leads me now into point number 3, which is you have recovery at the forefront of your mind. You're focusing on dialing back your workouts so that you're doing 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week that are extremely dialed and efficient. And now we have to understand, like, okay, how am I going to actually make progress with that low of volume? So that's the thing, especially in bodybuilding culture, the the thing that people focus on is volume and puffy muscles and just like being swole. Like, which I'm sure if you're listening to this video, you've probably seen the firefighter that is jacked and swole, who is the first one to burn through their bottle on a structure fire and get completely gassed. Why does that happen? It's a training issue. It's a strength issue. It's an efficiency issue. They're not training for the job. They're training for an aesthetic. And that aesthetic is to be very big and have a lot of fluid volume in their muscles. But that doesn't necessarily translate to strength. Okay, so how do I make the most use of just, if I'm only going 2 or 3 times a week, how do I make the most use of that? And I want you to understand this really important point, which is point number 3, and that is stimulus is the only thing that matters. Right? People like to break these things down into certain amount of reps, certain amount of sets, this amount of rest time. Listen to me here. And while I have my own preferences with these things, there's an overarching principle you need to adopt and understand, which is stimulus. Stimulating the muscle fibers, adequately challenging them is the only thing that matters. If you work within a couple reps to failure, whatever that is. People like to argue, oh, you should do 8 to 12, you should do 12 to 15, you should do 5 to 6. Listen to me. Shut up. Listen to me. The only thing that matters is that you stimulate the muscle fibers and that you train for strength and that you go with progressive overload, which means what? It just means that every week you're coming back and you're pushing the envelope just a little bit more. You're stimulating it just a little bit more. You're forcing adaptation. But this is the way the body works. It goes stimulus, recovery, and then the part that people don't talk about, which is adaptation. And that process takes longer than you think. It's also why people overtrain when they go to the gym every single day and they focus on strength training every single day. Now, well, like Sam Sulek does that. Yes, Sam Sulek is on performance-enhancing drugs. A lot of bodybuilders are. And they're able to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. Ask yourself, are the people that you're looking up to as role models for designing your physical routine, do they share the same kind of lifestyle as you, and do they have the same kind of goals? If the answer to that question is no, then why the hell are you doing it in the first place? Okay, this leads me into my last point, which is point number 4, understanding the law of diminishing returns. This kind of summarizes everything that we've talked about inside this video. It's not usually applied towards fitness, but I want to take a step back and look at it from the lens of being a firefighter. So what am I talking about when we talk the law of diminishing returns? All this really means is a theory and a law that says after a certain amount of effort, the results that you get on that effort start to diminish. So after a certain point, any extra effort just becomes wasted energy. So where is that point for you as a firefighter? If it is just going to be wasted effort and fatigue past a certain level, then you have to ask yourself, am I just doing it for the sake of saying I did it, or am I doing it because I actually believe I'm getting better results? But where the dial is for effective training in the grind set culture that we have, it is very detrimental to a career like firefighting. It's already hard for the general population, but you can magnify that by 10 for the lifestyle of a firefighter because of everything that comes along with it. So you have to ask yourself, hey, if I've been trying for a really long time and I can't seem to get there, like, what kind of habits and patterns and beliefs do I have that I haven't even looked at because I've just taken them for granted? I promise you one of them is probably you've been trying for too much volume. You've been told that it has to be 5 or 6 days a week, and you've been told that you have to be perfect or you're missing the mark. None of that is true, and the absolute thing that is goes back to a lesson that my first mentor told me, which is the years know things that the days and weeks will never know. He also told me that when I was starting to figure this stuff out at first, when I was first training with him, he said, Robbie, take the long road. It's faster. And it took me a really long time to figure out what that meant. But essentially, it meant like when you take the long road and you don't try to cut corners and you don't try to do extremes, you don't have to keep starting over. And although your initial progress might be slower, it's more consistent over time. And so over the course of 10 years, your results magnify. Instead of starting and stopping 18 different times, you just have a consistent upward trend. So ask yourself, what do you need to change and what do you need to dial back to be effective as a firefighter? Now, this program works for a ton of different types of firefighters. We've already talked about Kyle, who lost 140 pounds in his first 18 months, but 40 of those pounds came in the last 3. We have Justin from San Jose. He got down to his goal weight of 165 pounds in his first 3 months in the program. And then we have Dave, who is a captain at his own department in the Philadelphia area. He was able to lose some weight and actually lead his crew from the front with more confidence than he's ever had before. What is the key common denominator between all of these successful firefighters is they stopped doing programs that weren't designed for them in the first place. So if you're in that category and you think you have what it takes, you're actually serious, because let me be honest about all of these people. They did the work, right? This program, it is amazing if you're the type of person that's actually willing to follow through. All right, this is not some kind of magic pill. If you're looking for a quick fix, you're looking for something that is going to solve all of your problems in 3 months, then please, seriously, stay away. Like, I don't want to talk to you. But if you're the type of person that is actually willing to do the work and put in the effort, then I'm going to invite you to apply to the program, at least get some of our free resources, and check out what we have to offer by talking to one of the enrollment coaches, because this is the best firefighter program on the face of the planet. And am I biased? Obviously I am, but we have like the results and the proof to show it. So ask yourself, are you tired of spinning your wheels? And if you are, what are you willing to do about it? Other than that, let me just leave you with this, the same as every other video, which is remember, regardless of how you feel and think about the job, being in shape is part of the uniform. And the only person that can do something about that is you. I'll see you guys next time.